My biggest weight loss regrets. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. And if you're returning, I am so fortunate and blessed to have you come back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that I have not really shared before. And this is my biggest regret when it comes to my weight loss journey. And no, it's not about loose skin. It's not about the scale or even my workouts or my nutrition or my diet. My biggest regret is about wasting time, not getting on a GLP-1 sooner. Yes. I wasted a good 6 months of trying to do it on my own, doing all the things because I had my ego involved, and I wasted between March and September of 2022, and I just didn't want to ask for help at that point and said, I can do this on my own. So I thought that I would share this with you if you are someone that is considering going on a GLP-1, you're at that stage where you've contemplated, or you have the medication in your refrigerator right now, but you're too scared or whatever to take the GLP-1 or whatever your reasons are, you just haven't started that route. I want to share with you, and this is consensus from a lot of people that I've spoken to as well, people that have come to me live in the comments of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, that have expressed that their biggest regret is not starting sooner. And I want to share with you why and what stops us from starting and why today is the day. If you have the medication in your refrigerator, why this video, by the end of it, you're going to be getting your shot out and you're going to be jabbing your stomach, your thigh, or your arm, and you're going to do it, and you're going to be so excited to start this journey versus having trepidations or anxieties or being scared. Go in with excitement, not with fear. So why I did not start it in the beginning and why it took me 6 months to get on a GLP-1. I literally have been trying for decades, since my late teens, to get control of my body, my weight. So literally decades. I'm 54 years old. And I'm a mom of 4. I'm married, and I do all the regular things, work a full-time job and have always worked out and all of that. But literally for decades, I could not figure out how to get to a stable, healthy body weight and remain there. And I thought I could do it on my own. I thought it was my responsibility, that it was on me 100% to figure it out, that it just took a little more discipline or a little bit more restraint or a little less of something or a little more of something or a little more exercise, a little less, whatever it is, that I could do this. And yet history has shown throughout my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and starting in my 50s, that I have done all the things. I've done the diets, and I've done Weight Watchers, and all different things, and it wasn't working. But I still got my ego involved. I still thought it was me, and I did resist getting medical help. I didn't want to admit that I needed that medical assistance to help me. Even though I have been on thyroid medication because my thyroid is low, I was willing to accept that. I've been on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy for over 20 years since my early 30s, because I knew that that's not something I can manufacture or create, and I needed that help to regulate me. But I was so resistant to taking a GLP-1 because I just didn't want or admit that I needed that. And that delay wasted time. It's something that I will always regret, and it is something that I will always reflect back to, that I could have been 6 months ahead in the journey. I could have made it easier on myself. But I waited. I thought that getting on a GLP-1 meant that I had failed, that I couldn't do it. Social media got in the way, right? Kept saying, well, you just need more discipline and need more willpower. And I, was worried about the side effects. Not really at that point in time in 2022. It wasn't really out there that much. So I didn't really worry like many of you do about the side effects and all that fear mongering that's come out about, all the things. I was worried though about having to stay on a medication for the rest of my life, feeling dependent on this medication to not just help me lose weight, but to help me keep the weight off. That was a fear. I even asked my doctor, I'm like, well, am I gonna have to stay on this the rest of my life? She said no at the time, which is what was the thing that finally convinced me to go on it, because I didn't, in my mind's eye, didn't think that I ever wanted to have to stay on a medication the rest of my life, even though I will be on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy for the rest of my life. You're gonna have to pry that stuff out of my cold dead fingers, because I am staying on BHRT the rest of my life. I will probably, unless my thyroid magically regulates itself, be on a low dose of thyroid medication the rest of my life. But when it comes to weight loss, it just feels different, doesn't it? For some reason, it feels like we should be the ones being able to do it. And to finally admit and to know that there's something that's just messed up biologically, I guess it's sort of a relief, but at the same time, it's like, okay, now I'm sort of dependent on this medication, which I guess is okay. Like, it is what it is. And, when your biology is messed up and your signaling is messed up, you can't regulate it just because you willpower it. Like, you just can't. Like, it's a medical thing. So if we are GLP-1 or GIP or glucagon deficient, and we take that as a supplement and it brings us back to normal levels to help us manage all the other things, then so be it, right? It is what it is. So I worried though about all of these things, and there wasn't any doctors that had brought up this in the past. There wasn't anything, no one ever said anything to me about that. I think I had read a couple of articles about Ozempic, Wegovy at that particular time, maybe Mounjaro. Zepbound wasn't out yet, but I didn't really know too much about it. And also it's almost embarrassing to, I don't know, to get on a medication for weight loss, So there was a little embarrassment. There was a little shame in there. But I'm just here to say that if delaying this isn't going to make you stronger, and if you need this support and you need this medical intervention, it will help you. It will help you to get you past the point of wherever you are now, because it does change your brain, the way it's wired, and your cravings and your food noise and all these things. It just makes doing all the things, choosing better foods, moving your body more, it makes those things actually work now. It makes it doable. I'll say it makes it easier, but it just gives you that brain freedom to also focus on other things, because if weight loss and maintaining your weight become a full-time job, you just don't have room in your life for anything else. And that's not living. That's just not living. You don't want to have to focus your entire life on how much you're exercising, what you're eating, what you're not eating, yes, there's intention, there's some focus, and you have to pay attention to that, but it shouldn't be your entire life. I mean, you have relationships, you have work, you have other interests, you have hobbies like that you want to be able to focus on without having this like food shit going on in the back of your mind. When it comes to timing, and I can look back now and I could say that if somebody were to have introduced this GLP-1, let's say back in 2021, I probably wouldn't have been ready. So it does take readiness. You do need to be at the stage of saying, I am ready to tackle this. I am ready to release the weight. I was not ready in 2021. I can tell you hands down, if my doctor had brought it up then, because my doctor did bring it up to me. I had read about it. I didn't bring it up to my doctor. I was very fortunate. I have an amazing doctor who brought it up to me, who said to me in this March, springtime of 2022, I think Ozempic can help you. And my doctor knew my struggles. She knew all the attempts and the endeavors that I had done and the crazy exercise and all the stuff. She brought it to me, and I'm the one who said no initially. But if she had brought it up to me in 2021, even though in 2021, I had hit probably one of the highest weights I had ever been, somewhere in the mid 160s or high 160s. And just for reference, if you don't know, I have lost over 50 pounds. I've been maintaining for over 2.5 years at about 113 pounds. So I've lost over 50 pounds. I know that I was in like the mid 160s. I just didn't weigh myself because I was terrified of weighing myself. I'll be honest. Didn't want to see the number because that would probably just send me into a very deep depression. So I waited on weighing myself until I knew that I had lost some weight and that I felt okay about it. But if my doctor had brought it up in 2021, I wasn't ready. So your mindset has to be there. You do have to be ready for change. And I had to get there. Even though in 2021, I was not happy with myself and I wasn't happy with my weight and I couldn't put clothes on, and there was so many clothes in my wardrobe, even though they were bigger clothes that just would not fit me. And I avoided just putting them on because it was depressing. It wasn't until 2022, I don't know, something clicked. Something finally said, you can do this. Juls, you can do this. Now is the time. Now you're going to do it. And I just was ready, and something just turned in me, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I started my journey in March, and I was like, I'm doing it by myself. But in a way, I sort of wasted. It was a learning opportunity. I was going crazy with the exercise and running every day and figuring out my food and all that stuff. But it was still a struggle with the food. I was getting better with it. But, I was still having my desserts, and I was still drinking a little, I'll admit. Not a lot, but I was still having some wine and whatnot. And I literally could not budge the scale more than like 5 or 6 pounds in that 6 months. And knowing how much effort I had put in, finally at that September, I said to my doctor, okay, I will take the GLP-1. If this thing can help me, knowing that I have pretty much, I think, put 100% in at this point, then I'm willing to do it. So that's when I finally jumped onto the GLP-1 in September. And with that first week on, I was like, oh my God, why didn't I do this sooner? Because that first week, I didn't change anything. I didn't intentionally change anything because I was doing so many things right. I was already doing so many things very, very well. That first week, I lost 4.2 pounds. And I'm like, what the hell? I've been fighting and pushing and putting all of my intention and thought process into losing weight and into my nutrition and into all of this running and weight training to lose 5-6 6 pounds in 6 months. And I go on this GLP-1 and week 1, I lose over 4 pounds. Like, what is going on? And that just showed me that there was something inside of me that was broken, that needed fixing. And this GLP-1 is helping. Now, not everyone gets a response their first week. I mean, look, I get it. There are some people out there, you might lose 10 pounds your first week. Some people lose 20 pounds. It's insane, the things that I've seen. I was astonished to lose over 4 pounds. Some people won't lose anything for a little bit, but I want to tell you to hang in there, because the vast majority of people, it will work. It just depends on your starting point. I mean, I had been doing so many things right. So I was already getting my metabolism going, and my insulin resistance was now starting to come down a lot more, because the more insulin sensitive you are, the easier it will be to lose weight, and the better the GLP-1 will work for you. You just got to hang in there. But I also want to caution you that the GLP-1, it's not, it may feel like magic, but it isn't just take a shot and do nothing else. And are there some people that do that? Yes, but they're going to run into a wall. If you just take a GLP-1 and you do nothing else, let's say you're at a point where you're still eating fast food, processed food, desserts, like you're just really, like, you know that your nutrition isn't great, and you're just eating less of that bad nutrition because of the GLP-1, you're just eating less of it, so your portions are less, but your nutrition just still sucks, and you're not moving or doing anything. You may lose weight, absolutely, but you're gonna run into a wall. You're gonna get to a point where maybe you're a smaller version of yourself, but you're now have lost so much muscle, and if you haven't, you gotta still be intentional. You still need to do the things, because health, it's about being healthy on all different levels. And in order to be healthy today and be healthy long-term, this is multi-leveled. This is a long journey, and it's multi-level. It is the physical, it is the mental, the emotional, it's everything. It's about doing that inner work, because if we, and I know I can speak for myself, have gotten to the point of like, oh, I want some cookies that'll make me feel good and it makes me feel happy. Like, that's not a good thing. Like, yeah, every once in a while having something that, like, it's good, but it's not a way to cope with your emotions. And I think a lot of us have used food, whether we're happy, sad, bored, whatever. And that's the inner stuff that we have to work on. But the GLP helps us do it so much better in finding other coping mechanisms. And then there's all the things inside your body that get healed up as well. So for me, and for many of you out there, the most effective way to get the weight off, to change your body composition, to maximize that GLP-1 effectiveness is to take your shot consistently. Don't forget it. Put it in your phone. Put an alarm on it. Take it consistently. Move your body. Lift weights. Get strong. That'll help give you energy, elevate your metabolism, create insulin sensitivity. So those are the things that I focused on. And then I slowly incorporated other things, habit stacking, right? So it's not like you have to do all of this at once, but just add in a little more movement, add in some strength training. Then I really started focusing on my sleep, hydration, and all these different things. And once I got one down, then I added something more. I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna start drinking 20, 30 ounces of water first thing in the morning. I didn't always do that. Now I do. Now it's become a habit. Now it's consistent. I'm going to start tracking my food. I'm going to start weighing myself every day. So all these habits and behavior changes happen slowly over time, and that helped to maximize that GLP-1 effectiveness. The other thing to address are the people who say, you can just do this on your own, and you just need more discipline and more willpower, and you don't need a GLP-1. Well, you know what? To those people, those people are not living in your body. Those people don't know what you have done, what you're not doing, what you are doing. Like, they don't know. And some of those people are saying it for really most of them are saying it for the wrong reasons. They don't understand. And for me, I have to ignore them and surround myself with the people that are supportive, that are on the same journey that I am. That is why I started this community. That is why I started this channel. So I can share what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, what are my struggles, what am I still struggling with, what are my wins, what has worked for me, so that you guys can learn from me and say, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. Because it's true. If I can do this, if I can change my behaviors, my habits, and stay with this long term, then that gives you hope. That gives you that inspiration, that motivation to go, wow, she at 54 with all, I had a twin pregnancy, then I had another pregnancy, and I have a bonus child. Like, if I can do it through all of that, all the ups and downs in life and struggles and hormonal imbalances and all the crap, if I can do this, then you can do this. So ignore the people out there on social media who don't really understand how a GLP-1 works and why it works for people like us. And I want to talk about the side effects, because I know that it keeps a lot of you stuck, scared from taking the medication, and you're terrified of it. If your doctor has prescribed this to you, then they know your medical history, which means they've cleared you for taking it, because there's not too many people who can't take this medication, who can't take a GLP-1. So if they've cleared you and you're good to go, then I would trust your doctor that you are cleared from that perspective. And when it comes to the side effects, again, the most vocal people out there are the ones who have the side effects, but the vast majority of us that are on a GLP-1 are not getting side effects. If you're diabetic, you may have a little bit more side effects because you're already kind of down that road of metabolic dysfunction. You have more insulin resistance. So and by the time you get to, I was pre-diabetic, but by the time you get to diabetic, you've been on that road for 15, 20 years already. So it's going to take a little longer. So you have to give yourself a little extra time and making sure you're eating the right foods and eating foods that will support your journey, because GLP-1s, they don't really like alcohol, added sugar, really high fatty foods. If you really overdo it on the vegetables, you might get some GI distress. I learned that one. So there are certain foods that are going to set you off, and there are certain basic things that you can do and avoid. And then some foods you just they're individualized. You have to learn for yourself to maybe, hey, I avoid those foods, or I limit them in quantity or portions because that will cause distress. If you're someone that's already prone to constipation, it could exacerbate it. I really never had too many side effects. Super mild, very, very mild nausea, but I actually didn't mind the nausea. I'll be honest with you. The times when I would get a little nauseous, I was like, oh, yay, it's working. So I was okay with it. It really wasn't a big deal. And I knew the medication was actually working, was having an effect. So I kind of welcomed it. Fatigue was my biggest and longest side effect. Fatigue was it. I pushed through when I could. I rested when I had to. And then I found that taking more water, more hydration, and salt really helped a lot. Also, I think for me, moving on to tirzepatide, Zepbound, Mounjaro helped the fatigue as well. I think I was much more tired when I was on semaglutide, Ozempic, or Wegovy. So I think that's another. And I just think, there's other factors involved, and I do have a video on fatigue. So there are other things that go into the whole fatigue issue and things you can do to combat the fatigue. And then, you're going to have the constipation, diarrhea, whatever. There's a lot of changes that are going on with your mitochondria, within your your gut, and that those changes are going to happen. And there are things to combat all of that as well. Movement and hydration and eating the right foods. Again, those are really the biggest things that will help fight against those side effects. So I don't let that scare you. Don't let that hold you back. This is such a game changer. Honestly, this is probably one of the biggest medical breakthroughs since penicillin. I mean, man, if we had this decades ago, what life would have been like, it would have been so different. But I feel so fortunate that we have a GLP-1 now. We have this medication that will help us, and we get to live out now the rest of our lives in a whole new place, in a whole new space for ourselves. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Stop procrastinating. Stop overthinking. Stop gathering information. Stop doing all of this. This is it. This is your last video that you're gonna watch, right? If you have the medication in your fridge, go take it. Take it today, take it tonight, take it tomorrow morning first thing. I love morning time because to me, it's a whole brand new day. It's exciting, and I look forward to shot day every single week. I love shot day. I can't wait to take my shot because I know what it's doing for my body, for my brain. I know it's helping to support me and help me where I am today. And I would not have lost over 50 pounds without the aid of a GLP-1. And I am just so grateful. So again, if you're just gathering information, just go do it. Surround yourself with a supportive community, bring in the right foods, do the right movement, trust in the process, and know that this is the start of truly transforming your life for the better. And be excited. Don't be scared. Just be excited. If you found this helpful for you, share it with a friend who might be hesitant as well, or a family member. And please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, hit the bell for the next video so you always know when the next one is coming. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you about to start on a journey? Are you on your journey? What held you back? Or were you ready to go and excited? I remember when I first picked up my first box of Ozempic, and it was in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and I said, I'm gonna take it first thing in the morning the next day. And I was so excited. I was just ready to go. And when I woke up Wednesday morning, that's what I did. I took it first thing in the morning, and I was just so excited, and I just embraced everything. So that's what I encourage you all to do. Hope to see you in my next video. Stay strong.